You're standing in your own backyard and something the size of a sesame seed is climbing up your sock. One white dot on its back, no bullseye, no swelling, no rash, no reason to think a bug touched you and you were never told it could. 3 weeks later, you bite into bacon at your own table and your throat starts to close. Here's the trade nobody put in front of you: a lifetime with no bacon, no brisket, no steak off your own grill, plus $5,000 in blood draws and allergist visits and EpiPens before one doctor names the thing, against a $15 bottle of Permethrin and a 10-minute tick check at the back door. So stay with me, because before this video's over, I'll show you the exact year they said all this out loud, 14 years too late, and that part is going to make you mad. The thing doing it is the Lone Star tick, Amblyomma americanum if you want it in Latin. The female wears that one white spot on her back like a brand, and that's where the name comes from, not Texas, the spot, and she is the only critter walking that can take pork off your plate for good. Let me tell you how they figured this out, because it's a wild story, and it didn't start with ticks at all. It started with cancer. Back in 2002, there was a doctor named Thomas Platts Mills who ran an allergy lab up at the University of Virginia, and he had a puzzle on his hands. Cancer patients getting a drug called cetuximab were breaking out in allergic reactions, bad ones, some going into shock the first time the drug hit their veins. That's not supposed to happen. Your body doesn't slam the door on something it's never met before. So Platts Mills and a younger doctor named Scott Commons started pulling the thread. The thread led them to a sugar, a little molecule with a mouthful of a name, galactose alpha-1,3 galactose. Everybody calls it alpha-gal. And here's the part that turns your stomach. That exact same sugar is sitting inside every bite of mammal meat there is: beef, pork, lamb, bacon, venison off your own deer lease. If it walked on 4 legs, it carries alpha-gal. And here's the clue that cracked the case. When Platts Mills mapped where those cetuximab reactions were striking, they were not scattered at random across the country. They clustered in the southeast, Tennessee, North Carolina, Arkansas, Missouri, and Virginia, the same block of states, county for county, where the Lone Star tick runs thickest. A cancer drug brewed in a lab and a tick out in the grass were lining up one identical map. That map is what pointed Platts Mills and Commons, along with a colleague named Tina Hatley, to the bug. By 2009, Platts Mills and Commons had it in black and white. A bite from the Lone Star tick can flip a switch in your immune system. The tick's spit carries that same alpha-gal sugar, and your body, fighting off the bite, learns to treat the sugar like an enemy. Trouble is, it can't tell tick spit from a pork chop, so weeks down the road you eat a burger and your own immune system goes to war on your dinner: hives. Gut cramps doubling you over at 2 in the morning, throat swelling shut, the full deal. And here's the kicker, the part that kept this hidden in plain sight. The reaction doesn't come right away. It runs 3 to 6 hours behind the meal. Most allergies hit in minutes, so you know what got you. This one waits. You eat steak at 6, you're fine through the dishes, and at 10 o'clock you're covered in welts wondering what on earth you touched. So folks blame the food. They blame a bad batch. They blame the seasoning. Nobody on God's green earth thinks back 3 weeks to a bug bite they never even felt. And this is the opposite of Lyme disease, the one everybody knows. Lyme comes from the black-legged tick, the ixodes, and it leaves that telltale bullseye. The Lone Star leaves nothing. No mark to point at, no name to ask for. Now this tick used to keep to the southeast and the south central states, Texas, Arkansas, the Carolinas, tick country, and everybody down here lived with it. But it did not stay put. From 2014 onward, they tracked that one dot tick creeping north, county by county, onto Long Island, up into Suffolk County, out to Cape Cod, all the way to Maine. Maine, folks up there who never pulled a tick in their lives are walking into the same trap now, and their doctors are further behind ours. And it is not slowing down. The reason the Lone Star keeps marching north is simple bookkeeping. The white-tailed deer herd has rebounded to numbers this country has not seen since before the Civil War, and every one of those deer is a mobile tick wagon. The soft winters up in New England don't kill the eggs off the way a hard Maine freeze used to, so the map keeps growing. Minnesota logged its first homegrown alpha-gal cases a few years back. Health departments out on Long Island started flagging it. This is not a Texas story anymore. It's a fence line story, and the fence line is moving toward you. The first time I looked at one of these ticks, I was a boy out at my granddad Wilburn's place, past Waco down in the Brazos Bottoms, that black gumbo dirt on the Blackland Prairie, Lone Star country, thick with them. You couldn't walk the fence line in July without coming back with a half dozen of these little spotted things lashed onto your ankles. I watched Wilburn pull them off with a lit match in his thumbnail and never give it a thought. Nobody did back then, just part of farming. We had no notion one of those bites could have been riding a man out of every bacon breakfast he had left. By the time I got my own place outside Bastrop in 1971, I was pulling them off the same careless way. Nobody told us any different. Now if you've already got a yard, some grass, a tree line out back, and you're sitting there thinking this is a problem for hunters and hikers who go tromping through the deep woods, stay with me because this next part is for you. The Lone Star doesn't wait in the wilderness. It waits in the tall grass at the edge of your mower line. It rides in on the deer that cut through at dusk, on the mice in your woodpile, on the dog that flops back down on your porch. You don't need to move. You don't need to give up the land. You need about $15 in a Saturday. Use one, and this is the move that does the most work. Permethrin. 0.5% Permethrin, moat 5% sprayed on your clothes, your shirt, your pants, your boots, your socks, never your skin. You spray it, you hang it on the line, you let it dry. Once it's dry, it bonds into the fabric and stays put about 6 weeks or 6 washings. One bottle carries you a whole tick season, March to first frost. There was a year-long study on outdoor workers, folks out in the brush all day, and the ones in treated clothes took about 65% fewer tick bites. That's not a gimmick. The CDC backs it, the EPA backs it, the U.S. military issues it to soldiers. A bottle runs about $15 and treats a whole season of yard clothes. Set that next to one ER visit or years of allergist bills and EpiPen refills, and you tell me which one's the bargain. Use 2. Dress so you can spot the dot before it ever gets a grip. Light colored shirt, light colored pants, because the Lone Star is dark and that female's one white dot shows up on a tan shirt. Then tuck your pant legs down into your socks. Now there's nothing for her to grab down low. She has to climb the outside of the cloth out in the open where your eyes can find her. Cost you nothing but the trouble of dressing right. Use 3, build yourself a moat. Cut a 3-foot strip of wood chips or gravel between your lawn and the tree line. Mow it tight. Rake out every bit of that leaf litter because that's where they hide and stay damp. A Lone Star tick can't stand a hot, dry, sunny edge. She dries out and dies trying to cross it. 3 feet of bare ground and a rake. They will not cross it. Use 3 is also where the CDC and I agree on something, so let me say it straight. I am not telling you to skip the doctor. If you're having real reactions, hives, gut trouble, your throat tightening up hours after a burger, you need an allergist and that alpha-gal blood test, and that's where they save your life. The doctors are dead right about that part, but keeping the tick off you in the first place, that's not a prescription. That's a $5 bottle and 10 minutes at the back door. And look, I'm a gardener, not your doctor. Nothing here is medical advice, and there is no home cure for alpha-gal. If you think you've got it, go see a real allergist and get the test. All I can teach you is how to keep the tick off your land. Use 4, hit them where they live. Knock down the yard perimeter where the grass meets the brush. That's the tick nursery, not the open lawn. You can set out tick tubes too, the Daminix kind, little tubes of Permethrin treated cotton. The field mice haul that cotton back to line their nests, and it kills the young ticks right on the mouse before they ever reach you. Or you let nature do the work. A few guinea fowl will patrol your yard all day long. And don't you go cussing the opossum. That homely critter grooms thousands of ticks off himself in a single season. The opossum is on your side. Use 5, starve them out by cutting off the host. These ticks ride deer. A deer wanders your good ground and drops fat females everywhere it walks. One deer is a tick factory on 4 legs. So fence the deer off the ground close to the house. No deer, no free ride, no next generation breeding in your grass. Use 6, clean off the second you come in. Your yard clothes go straight into a hot dryer, 10 minutes on high heat, dry before anything else. That dry heat is what kills the hitchhikers. The wash alone won't do it. A tick can ride out a swim in the machine just fine. It's the dry heat that finishes them. Then a quick look over right there at the back door before you sit down to supper. I have done this for years out at my place outside Bass Reef since '71. And more than once Doreena's caught one on my collar at the door, one little dot creeping up toward my neck, and picked it off with the tweezers before it found a spot to dig. 10 minutes in the dryer and a second pair of eyes at the door. That's the whole drill. Use 7, and this is the most important of all 7, the daily full body tick check and a clean removal when you find one. Every evening you check scalp, behind the ears, the belt line, behind the knees, all the warm tucked away spots. You find one dug in, you don't panic and you don't get clever. Fine tip tweezers. Grab her down low, right against the skin where her head is buried. Pull straight up, slow and steady. No twisting, no burnt match, no Vaseline, no nail polish, none of that old foolishness that makes her sick up into you. Straight up, and she comes out whole. And here's why this one matters most. The sooner that tick is off you, the lower your risk. Every hour counts. This is the move that stops a bite from ever turning into alpha-gal. Get her off clean, get her off fast, and the whole chain breaks right there. 7 cheap moves and not a doctor's bill among them. But before you go thinking that's the whole story, there's one more piece they really didn't want getting out, and it's the part that ought to make you mad. So let me put it back together for you plain. A tick the size of a sesame seed, one white dot on his back, can bite you in your own yard and ban you from baking for the rest of your life, and you've got 7 moves to stop it. You spray the permethrin on your clothes and let it dry. You learn to spot that single white dot. You cut the 3-foot gravel moat between the woods and where you walk. You knock them down before they ever reach the door. You starve out the deer that ferry them in. You run your clothes through a hot dryer the second you step inside. And you do the daily tick check, everybody, every night, with the tweezers held flat to the skin. 7 moves and the right way to pull a tick so the head doesn't snap off in you. Keep that list somewhere, you'll find it again. But stay right here, because I owe you that year. Now I hear the pushback already. Earl, I've lived on this land my whole life and never once had this. I believe you, but the tick that carries it didn't used to live where it lives now. Its range crept north, documented onto Cape Cod and clear up to Maine. What kept you safe yesterday is not a promise for tomorrow. Absence is not the same as safety. Then somebody says, this sounds like a scare, sounds like a conspiracy. No, this is not a conspiracy. It's worse, it's a blind spot nobody had a reason to fix. The tick-to-meat link has been sitting in the medical literature since 2009. The science was done. The problem was that nobody bothered to tell the doctors. And one more, Permethrin, is that stuff even safe? On your clothing, sprayed on the fabric, dried before you wear it. It's backed by the CDC, the EPA, and the U.S. military puts it on soldiers' uniforms. You're treating the cloth, not yourself. That's the whole point of Use 1. Here's the part I made you wait for. The link between that tick and the meat on your plate was published back in 2009, and then it sat buried in the medical journals while the CDC waited until 2023 to sound a real national alarm 14 years later. And when the CDC finally did, in its own Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report, the agency admitted that about 42% of doctors had never even heard of alpha-gal, and it put the number at up to 450,000 Americans who may be walking around with it, most of them never diagnosed. Let me make those numbers mean something. 42%, that's damn near half the doctors you might walk into who'd hear you say I get hives 3 hours after a burger and send you home with heartburn pills. 450,000, that's a city the size of Atlanta. Every soul in it allergic to bacon, most of them blaming the food, not one of them blaming the bug. And 14 years, that's a baby born the year they cracked it, 2009. Old enough now to walk a high school stage before anybody official rang the bell. That's the one they did not want buried. Not a villain in some boardroom, a blind spot nobody had a reason to fix. Well, now you know. And now your doctor is the one who has to catch up to you. So down in the comments, tell me, you ever pull a Lone Star tick off yourself out here, the little one with a single white dot? And if you eat meat and never heard a word about any of this, say so. I read every comment and I want to know how far this thing has spread. If you'd rather learn this from a fella who walks his own land than from a clinic that took 14 years to say it out loud, hit subscribe and join the folks taking their backyard back. Next time, I'll show you the 3 weeds growing along your fence line right now that are pulling these ticks straight onto your property, including the one I let grow at my own place back in 1971 and have regretted ever since. Your land, your health, your dinner table, nobody guards them the way you will. We don't wait 14 years for permission out here. We walk the grass edges, we keep that one white dot off our skin, and we keep the bacon on the table.